Nestled along the sun-kissed shores of Algoa Bay, Gqeberha stands as a testament to time and transformation. Known for much of its history as Port Elizabeth, this vibrant city in South Africa carries a rich and complex past. From its humble beginnings as a colonial outpost to its present-day identity, Gqeberha's story is one of resilience, change, and enduring hope. For centuries, the indigenous people of South Africa called this land home. The arrival of European settlers in the 18th century marked a turning point, forever altering the course of the region. In 1820, a group of British settlers landed on these shores, seeking a new life and forever changing the destiny of this coastal haven. Today, Gqeberha stands as a bustling metropolis, the beating heart of the Eastern Cape province. Its history is etched into its streets, its buildings, and the spirit of its people. As we delve into its past, we uncover the layers of a city shaped by colonialism, segregation, and ultimately the triumph of the human spirit in overcoming adversity. This is the story of Gqeberha, a city forged in the fires of history, embracing the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The year 1820 marked a pivotal moment in the history of Gqeberha. It was then that a fleet of ships carrying over 4,000 British settlers arrived on the shores of Algoa Bay. These pioneers, seeking new opportunities and a fresh start, established a settlement that would forever alter the landscape. Under the watchful gaze of Fort Frederick, a military outpost built to protect the fledgling settlement, Port Elizabeth, as it was then called, began to take shape. The town grew steadily, fueled by trade and the arrival of new settlers. The harbour, a natural haven, buzzed with activity as ships from distant lands brought goods and stories from across the seas. Life in early Port Elizabeth was not without its challenges. Tensions between the settlers and the indigenous Xhosa people simmered, often erupting into conflict over land and resources. Yet, amidst the struggles, a community was being forged. The discovery of gold and diamonds in the interior of South Africa in the late 19th century brought further growth to Port Elizabeth. The town became a vital supply point for the burgeoning mining industry, its port bustling with the comings and goings of prospectors and entrepreneurs seeking their fortune. As the town expanded, so too did its industries, laying the foundation for the industrial powerhouse it would later become. The turn of the 20th century ushered in an era of significant development for Port Elizabeth. The town, now a thriving city, witnessed the rise of new industries, the expansion of its infrastructure, and the growth of its population. Key events and individuals left their mark, shaping the city's identity and setting the stage for its future. In 1901, the South African War, also known as the Second Boer War, came to an end. Port Elizabeth played a strategic role in the conflict, serving as a major supply base for British forces. The war, while devastating in its impact, ultimately paved the way for the unification of South Africa under British rule. The early decades of the 20th century saw the rise of prominent industries in Port Elizabeth. The Ford Motor Company established a manufacturing plant in the city, marking the beginning of a long and fruitful relationship with the automotive industry. Other industries, including textiles, footwear, and food processing, also flourished, attracting workers from across the country and contributing to the city's growing economic importance. In 1910, the Union of South Africa was established, uniting the 4 British colonies of the Cape, Natal, Transvaal, and Orange River Colony. Port Elizabeth, as part of the Cape Province, became an integral part of this newly formed nation, its fortunes increasingly intertwined with those of South Africa as a whole. The year 1948 cast a long shadow over South Africa. It was then that the National Party, espousing the ideology of apartheid, came to power. This system of racial segregation and discrimination would have a profound and devastating impact on Port Elizabeth, as it did on the entire nation. Apartheid laws touched every aspect of life in Port Elizabeth. Residential areas were segregated, with black South Africans forcibly removed from their homes and communities and relocated to townships on the outskirts of the city. These townships, characterized by overcrowding, poverty, and limited access to basic services, became stark symbols of the injustices of the apartheid regime. The Group Areas Act of 1950 further entrenched segregation, dividing Port Elizabeth into designated areas based on race. This act led to the displacement of thousands of families, tearing apart communities and leaving a legacy of pain and resentment. Despite the oppressive laws and brutal enforcement of the apartheid regime, the spirit of resistance burned brightly in Port Elizabeth. The city became a hotbed of anti-apartheid activism, with organizations like the African National Congress, ANC, and the United Democratic Front, UDF, finding fertile ground for their message of equality and freedom. Section 5. Winds of Change. Gqeberha emerges. The 1980s and 1990s witnessed a groundswell of resistance against apartheid, both within South Africa and on the international stage. Port Elizabeth, with its long history of activism, stood at the forefront of this struggle for freedom and equality. The city became a focal point for protests, boycotts, and civil disobedience as its residents, black and white, joined hands to demand an end to the oppressive regime. The release of Nelson Mandela from prison in 1990 marked a turning point in South Africa's history. His message of reconciliation and forgiveness resonated deeply in Port Elizabeth, a city that had endured decades of division and strife. In 1994, South Africa held its first democratic elections, ushering in a new era of hope and possibility. The end of apartheid brought about a profound transformation in Port Elizabeth. The city, like the nation as a whole, embarked on a journey of healing and reconciliation, seeking to dismantle the structures of segregation and build a more just and equitable society. It was during this period of transformation that Port Elizabeth underwent a significant name change. In 2021, the city officially adopted the name Gqeberha, the isiXhosa name for the Barkans River, which flows through the city. This name change, while met with mixed reactions, reflected a desire to embrace the city's indigenous heritage and move beyond its colonial past. Section 6. A city transformed, progress and challenges. The post-apartheid era brought about significant changes in Gqeberha. The city, once sharply divided along racial lines, began the long and complex process of integration and reconciliation. New challenges emerged as the Gqeberha grappled with the legacy of apartheid and the socio-economic disparities that persisted. One of the most pressing challenges facing the city was the need to address the inequalities of the past. The legacy of apartheid manifested in high levels of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, particularly in the townships that had been neglected under the previous regime. The government implemented various programs and policies aimed at uplifting disadvantaged communities and creating economic opportunities. Investments were made in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, with the goal of creating a more just and equitable society. Despite the challenges, Gqeberha made significant strides in the post-apartheid era. The city witnessed a surge in economic growth driven by industries such as automotive manufacturing, tourism, and renewable energy. New businesses emerged, creating jobs and contributing to the city's revitalization. Section 7. Culture and Heritage, a Rich Tapestry. Gqeberha boasts a vibrant and diverse cultural landscape, a reflection of its rich history and the many different communities that call the city home. From its museums and art galleries to its music scene and culinary delights, Gqeberha offers a sensory feast for visitors and residents alike. The city is home to several museums and historical sites that provide insights into its past. The Donkin Heritage Trail, for example, takes visitors on a journey through the city's colonial history, while the Red Location Museum tells the poignant story of the forced removals and struggles of the apartheid era. Gqeberha's art scene is equally vibrant, with numerous galleries showcasing the works of local artists. The Nelson Mandela Metropolitan Art Museum, for instance, houses a diverse collection of contemporary and traditional South African art. Music and dance are integral parts of Gqeberha's cultural fabric. The city has produced several renowned musicians, and its live music venues offer a platform for both established and up-and-coming artists. From traditional Xhosa music and dance to jazz, hip-hop, and everything in between, Gqeberha's music scene pulsates with energy and creativity. Section 8. Looking ahead, Gqeberha's horizons. As Gqeberha looks to the future, it faces both opportunities and challenges. The city has the potential to become a major economic hub in South Africa, leveraging its strategic location, its industrial base, and its growing tourism sector. However, it must also address persistent issues such as poverty, inequality, and crime. One of the key challenges facing Gqeberha is unemployment, particularly among young people. The city needs to create more job opportunities, especially in sectors that offer long-term growth potential. Investing in education and skills development will be crucial to equip young people with the tools they need to succeed in the 21st century economy. Another challenge is ensuring that economic growth benefits all residents. Gqeberha needs to find ways to bridge the gap between the haves and have-nots, creating a more inclusive and equitable society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Despite the challenges, there is a sense of optimism in Gqeberha. The city has a proud history of resilience and determination, and its people are known for their warmth and hospitality. With the right investments and a shared commitment to progress, Gqeberha has the potential to become a shining example of a city that has overcome adversity to build a brighter future for all. Section 9. A city of hope embracing the future. Gqeberha stands at a crossroads, its past filled with both pain and triumph, its future pregnant with possibilities. The legacy of apartheid continues to cast a long shadow, a reminder of the injustices that once defined this land. Yet, amidst the challenges, there is a palpable sense of hope, a belief that a brighter future is within reach. The spirit of Ubuntu, a Nguni term that encapsulates the interconnectedness of humanity, resonates deeply in Gqeberha. It is a spirit of compassion, of shared responsibility, of recognizing that we are all bound together in a common destiny. Gqeberha's journey is far from over. It is a city still healing, still transforming, still striving to create a society that reflects the aspirations of its people. The road ahead may be long and winding, but the spirit of Gqeberha, a spirit forged in the fires of adversity and tempered by hope, will light the way. This is Gqeberha, a city of resilience, a city of hope, a city embracing the future with open arms.